In this video, I've got 10 tips for you to help you overcome art block. While I share them with you, I'll be painting a carnation in watercolour. I've been painting on and off now for 26 years. And during that time, I had to overcome a phase where I had completely lost interest in my art. I painted with acrylic paint when I was younger, and I used to teach classes after work and on weekends. It was my second job. I loved painting in acrylic, but after about 10 years of using it, I became disinterested in painting. It no longer gave me any joy, and it was a really difficult time for me. To get over that slump, I did this, and this is the first tip I have for you. I changed mediums. Painting in acrylic paint had become a chore, but I knew I still wanted to paint. I had tried painting in watercolour a few years earlier, and I failed miserably. Then, when my interest in using acrylic paint waned, I tried painting in watercolour a second time. I stuck with it this second time, and I am so glad I did. A whole new world opened up for me. Suddenly, my creative spark returned. Where acrylic paint had become laborious and dull, in contrast, watercolour was quick, fluid, and so exciting to use. It was just what I needed to reignite my enthusiasm for painting. If you are tired of painting in watercolour, try using watercolour pencils or try doing some mixed media paintings. Combine other mediums with watercolour. Use charcoal and watercolour. Look at the amazing paintings of Alex Powers, who combined charcoal and gouache with watercolour. Try enhancing your paintings with coloured pencil. Use ink with watercolour, or try combining watercolour with pastel pencils and graphite. There's so much you can do, and there's a lot of work out there from highly skilled artists that can inspire you. Changing your medium might be the key to getting you out of your creative slump, like it was for me. Tip 2, change your subject matter or your style. Maybe it's your subject matter or your style of painting that is causing your creative block. Some artists just like to paint birds or flowers or landscapes. I know that it's important to specialise in something, but painting the same subject matter over and over would become very boring for me. I like to try painting different subjects to keep it interesting, and in doing so, I keep upgrading my skills because I'm constantly learning. I also like to try different styles of painting. I try to improve my skills and do things differently. Learning to paint is the first step. Once you have some skill, you need to learn to be more creative. I think you have to ask yourself, okay, I have some skills now, but have I stopped learning and growing as an artist? Simply repeating yourself over and over in the same way will eventually lead to boredom. That excitement of learning something new has gone. Tip 3, look for inspiration. There are thousands of skilled artists who share their work online. Look them up on DeviantArt, Behance, ArtStation, Instagram, Etsy, Artsy, Redbubble, Society6. There are so many different places. Pinterest is another good site to view artwork. I have some private boards where I save artwork that inspires me. Whenever I feel a bit stale, I look at all of the artwork that I have saved, and I am immediately inspired again. If you live in a major city, you could also go to an art gallery or an art exhibition and immerse yourself in the art there. Tip 4, collaborate with others. Creating art can be a lonely pursuit. We spend all day alone in our own little bubble trying to create. When you collaborate with other artists, it might help to spark new ideas. Join an artist group or community and connect with other artists. Go and do some workshops to learn new techniques and meet other people with your interests. You could also participate in online art challenges. There are plenty of those if you look them up. Tip 5, go outside and connect with nature. Spending time outdoors can improve your mood. I know for me, being surrounded by natural beauty often provides new sources of inspiration. Going for a walk in the forest gives me a much-needed break from my work. Just sitting in my garden, watching and listening to the birds for a while can lift my mood and get my creative juices flowing again. Lately, I've been sitting outside with a sketchbook, drawing some of the trees in my garden. Tip 6, play some music. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm feeling a little down or flat, if I put an upbeat, happy song on, my mood instantly lifts. When I paint, I usually like to listen to relaxation music to help me focus on what I'm doing. But sometimes I need some more upbeat music to lift my spirits. Tip 7, don't be too hard on yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes and learn from them. Sometimes when you see amazing art online, it might make you feel that your art is inferior. I know I often feel like that. Instead of letting it get me down, I use it as inspiration to improve my own work. I use it to lift me. I have a selection of art books in my studio. I have books from artists whose work I admire: Mary White, John Lovett, Joseph Zurbuchvich and Thomas Schaller, to name a few. I often sit and study their beautiful paintings in these books, and I try to analyse how they would have painted them. Doing that, I know, is having a positive impact on my growth as an artist. So try not to feel inadequate. Always remember that the work you see online and in books is the artist's very best work. You don't see their failures. You don't see all of the work that went into producing that final painting. It takes years and years of practice to become that good, and they still produce paintings that fail. Tip number 8, setting goals. Get into the habit of setting goals for yourself. Set a specific and measurable daily or weekly practice goal. It might be to commit to drawing for 30 minutes every day. Or maybe you could produce one painting a week. Whatever it is, make it achievable, specific, and measurable. I love the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I've nearly finished reading it. James reveals how small changes can grow into life-changing outcomes. It's well worth reading. Tip 9. New art supplies. If you can afford it, buy yourself some new art supplies. I know good quality art supplies can be very expensive, but whenever I buy new supplies, be it paper or a new brush or some new paint colours, I am often inspired to start a new painting. That might be all you need to get you started again. And my final tip, tip 10. If all else fails, take a break. Taking a break can recharge your creative energy. Life challenges might be overwhelming you and interfering in your creativity, so give yourself some space and some time to breathe. You might have pushed yourself too hard and you're burnt out. Engage in other activities to help you relax. And when you feel ready, come back to your art and begin again with new energy and motivation. There's my finished painting. And if you're interested, I have prints available of this painting on my website. I've put a link in the description. Being a professional artist doesn't give me the luxury of taking a break. I have to be disciplined enough to show up and work every day, whether I want to or not. So it's a good thing that I love doing it. If you ever find yourself in a creative slump, I hope the tips I've given you in this video will help you get out of it. If you'd like to learn more about painting in watercolour, please join me on Patreon. I've put a link in the description. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Oh, while I share them with you, I'll be painting a carnation.
Now, fix your top.
Now I'm going to say carnation all the time.
Don't say carnation, it's A.
While I share them with you, I'll be painting a carnation. I can't do it.
A carnation.
A carnation.
A carnation.
Why can't you say A?
I don't know, because you've put it into my head. I'll be painting a carnation. All right, that will be easier. If you ever find yourself in a creative slump, I hope that the tips that I've given you here in this video will help you get out of it.
You're going so well.